Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to start this off on a little bit different this episode, but I've read a news article today that has shook me so deep to my core, and it's very nearly radicalized me, if I'm being honest. And it is the army general saying that if we went to war, there would be a draft. People would be conscripted, and that makes sense. It usually happens in every war, doesn't it? But I can't quite put into words how not a part of that I would be. If there was going to be a draft, I'd have a few conditions, to be honest. If we send all the 40, the 50, and the 60-year-olds there first, right, let them get cut in half with machine guns, then that'd sweeten me up a little bit, It'd be kind of fun walking over all their remains to take back land that they'd lost because they're useless, overweight. It's not even a Gen Z thing. Gen Z? What is it? Gen X? What generation? I'd quite happily be on the front lines with a lot of the people, that are younger than me or the same age. All the Tomato Town songs that we'd sing about dropping into Eastern Ukraine. Just love to see it, because I bet a lot of these boomers are going, yeah, they're not cut out for it. This Generation Z, they all spend their time on TikTok. But let's be honest, we're all the generation that got shipped off to World War II. Were they any more prepared? What makes you prepared for war? Is that saying, hard times make hard men? I think you're a product of whatever you put into, to be honest. And I think we would definitely rise to the occasion. I think we'd be great at killing people. I think being unhinged and acting emotionally is some of the things that our generation does best. I see multiple people die online every day, falling off cranes, getting hit by objects at ridiculous speeds. I'm numb to dead bodies, all right? If my comrade gets his head blown off next to me, I'm going to video it and then get back to fighting, all right? Because that's just the way I'm wired. And I think a lot of the people in our generation are wired. We're the hottest in the world right now, just up. And listen, after last week's episode, I'm not under some illusion that I'd be the first to be drafted in this war. I mean, you take one look at me and you think I'd be the fucking guy making the decisions, if I'm being honest. But, we all know my testosterone results, and I might not even be the 10th pick. I think, if I'm being honest, I'll probably be back home with the gals, making bullets and munitions, and having a merry old time. I think I'd much more prefer that, to be honest, than flying planes. Guys, it's been a real tough week this week. It's changed the way I feel like a lot of people look at me. I was going to do an IQ test for a video at some point, but now I'm petrified that McDonald's are going to kidnap me and chain me to a grill for the rest of my life. Straight after the episode, I went and took a long shower, one of those showers that you bring a stool in, and just pontificate. I'm just thinking. I'm looking down at my sack, trying to think where it all went wrong. And if I'm being completely honest, they haven't stopped hurting my testicles for for a good 5 days. I think they're guilty, if I'm being honest. I think they're really ashamed of the embarrassment that they've put me through. It's just not making sense in my head. I've been weighing up how it could have possibly happened, and I'm thinking maybe my testicles were just having a bit of an off day that day. My blood was taken, or maybe this multi-million-pound medical research corporation switch my sample out with some 85-year-old codger. But I went around to the guys in the gym, the boys, and I was telling them all about my T results, and they were being so kind. They were going, "What's going on?" I mean, the size of your traps, it's just not making sense. And a crowd started to gather at the gym, and they're all getting pretty serious. They all wanted to sue this company on my behalf, which I thought was so charming. I just said to them, "Yo, fellas, chill, bros. Don't get the pitchforks out yet until we get the second results." I've ordered another one, and I'm going to see what those results are, and then if they aren't what I want them to be, I'm going to do another one. A best of 3 situation where I'm going to take the best result and double it, and then tell everybody that was my actual result. I've been weighing up whether or not I want to get on testosterone and how fun it would be. Literally just to do it, to have my testicles shrink, to punish them, streamline the penis, Because I think, I've been thinking about cock so much. All I've been doing is just drawing pictures of penises and testicles. And I've thought a lot about this. And I do think if we could redesign the penis, I think we'd get rid of the balls anyway. Get that aerodynamic thrust going straight underneath and right out the back. Because they do just look like big balls and nothing. And that's kind of what mine have become. To me, anyway, just big, stupid things that shouldn't be there and are wasting my time. But I'm sure, when there's like gene therapy and stuff, and I'm sure the Chinese are doing this, and probably we're doing it as well. I probably reckon we're not doing it as good as them, but I bet you can change all sorts. Most people want, I want blue eyes for my kid. Maybe in 30, maybe in 15 years when I decide to ruin this planet with another version of myself, I'm going to be in the gene therapy appointment, strutting around, with this bit of chalk on a board, drawing penises, and the doctor will look at me and I'll say, listen, guy, let's lose the balls, all right? And he'll go, Jesus Christ, we've never even been asked that before. And I said, yeah. Well, I've got some schematics that I've been working on in my spare time, and I'll get the paste out and stick them to the wall, and I'll point stuff out to him, and I'll say, let's bring those suckers back inside and get them winched up against the cheeks. And then, that way it can be some sort of an entrance when you need to get them out. They're not just there looking all stupid. You can pull you can click a button in your forearm and they'll swing down like those paint cans off of Home Alone. I don't know what's going on. But it's funny. I got a comment on one of the shorts it's made me laugh. He said something like, bro, coming from a real nice place, he was like, bro, I think you need to see a shrink because the thoughts you're having and saying are no help to you or others. And that was so great. I mean, I just love what that guy said. And don't get it twisted. I hope he gets hit by a car on his way to school. But having said that, he did hit on a point that is funny, Let me have my thoughts, all right? Okay? It is funny to, name your penis and kind of act like it's a separate entity or something like that, Sometimes before I have sex, I will, I'll fucking pull my foreskin up like I've just put a hood up and I'm about to run into a bank with a gun and do a heist. Because, you need that sort of energy. When, yeah, that's the perfect thing that you want before you're about to have sex is a sort of criminal. You want a criminal element, obviously. And not saying anything criminal is going down, but hey, listen, you want to be willing to die for that bonsai. What's my problem? What's your guys' problem, eh? They're not real anyway. They don't even mean anything anymore. So I'm just trying to give meaning to these body parts that literally have no meaning anymore. So, seeing as there's this war, and it's so strange, I think that is why we do have a lot of, problems that maybe wouldn't be there if people were getting shipped off, in camouflage to go die. Maybe I wouldn't be worrying about my testosterone. I wouldn't have time to have these tests done. It would be like a retrospective thing that my parents maybe thought of when I came back in a casket. But, I've been trying to think, what is going on? Doing a bit of research, I'm a researcher. I'm a dude. I like to play games, and I like to know why the games are being played. So I've been looking at stuff, and what keeps coming up? No, it's not the Russians, but it has to do with indigestion, and it's microplastics, phthalates, all very serious things that we wouldn't even care about, right? If we didn't have anything better to do. And they've got me so seriously worried that I'm ingesting little bits of plastic, and that is turning my body into some vessel for pollution. Microplastics. Who would have thought these things were bad? These things are very bad. These things are bad, and they're maybe making people gay. And I didn't read that anywhere, but that's just my intuition. But you hear people getting face peels, right? Hey, I'm just going out to get my face peeled. What, Mom? What, you're going to go out and hope somebody does a terrorist attack on you and throws acid in your face? And I don't want to scare everyone, but the big problem is exposure to phthalates whilst pregnant I'm sorry, but it's making everyone's ass ball connectors a little bit smaller. And I don't really care to explain what a lot of those words mean because I think you just need to feel the severity of that without it being explained. Basically, we're all losing our genitals slowly. But imagine having to tell your friend that you the reason that you've got a mangina is because your mom couldn't stop eating crisp packets on condoms. Yep, mom couldn't stop eating condoms and crisp packets while she was impregnated by me. No. No. Whilst I was inside of her, it does sound a lot cooler having these phthalates inside you than fetal alcohol syndrome, which just makes you look funny, and everyone can tell. At least phthalates, it's hidden, and not everyone can see your loom pudding. But I don't want to make everyone even more upset by talking about animals. And I know a lot of people, especially the younger crowd, seem to care more about cats and dogs than they do about humans, which I've always found very repulsive. But there is a little disease. It's called plasticosis that a lot of these birds are getting because birds are a little bit thick, and they see water bottles and stuff. The sorts of things that your guy's mum thinks is a good idea to eat while she's pregnant with you. These birds think, ooh, wow, avian. Ooh, I'm gonna regurgitate that all over my little chicks, and then they're gonna eat it. And this stuff, these little plastics, start to sort of cut up their intestines a little bit, and they scar, and it's just a big old inflammation pudding. All right, and it's bad for the birds. But why should we give a shit about the birds? If you are thinking that, I applaud you. But we should give a shit about the birds because we're all connected on some Mother Nature shit. We are going to kill the birds at some point and we're going to eat them. When I read this, I thought, gosh, I feel slightly responsible for this. I've been cutting up my credit cards for 4 years and throwing them in the ocean. In my head, I just wanted to get rid of all the debt. Okay, but that's not how the bank sees it, nor the RSPCA, who were, really taking a dislike to my little practice. I'll put up a little picture. I don't want you guys researching. Listen, I'm the orbiter of knowledge in this little video. So I'm going to put up a picture of microplastics. And the first thing that comes to your head, just think now. What do you think of them? Take a good look at them. That's what's going to be inside your chicken nuggets soon enough. Yep. Scary, isn't it? Don't you think they look a bit cute? All these little bits of plastic. Like little toys. Little fun little things for plankton and fish to play with. Whatever happened to one man's trash is another man's treasure. We seem to have forgotten these age-old stoic principles that our society has been built upon. Why do we have to clean the ocean? Why can't the ocean learn to survive and thrive with our rubbish in it? But of course, the fish cannot be trusted with microplastics because they seem to love eating them, which I can't blame them. It does look kind of nice, and if you had a fish brain, I'm sure it looks double nice. But having said that, crows get along quite well with all the plastic. They love collecting it all into bullshit little piles to impress females. So I think we should probably just ask what they really want to do with all the plastic once we figure out how to talk to them and that. I feel like that'll be the least of our worries, though. I feel like we'll go in with a set of questions like, oh, what about shit that we're drilling and spewing into your home? What about microplastics? And I think the dolphins and the whales and that will come in some sort of like freedom fighter shit where they'll say, listen, get the fucking boats out of our home as well. We don't want any fucking human in the ocean ever. If we let them talk, they'll start fucking getting together, and I think they'll figure out how we did it and crawl onto land and start having sex with everyone. And that's something I don't want to see anyway. That's something I'm quite against. But it'll be a great future, trust me. We'll all have lots of fun. Are we not all excited for when the Instagram oddly satisfying video accounts get hold of some of these microplastics, and start throwing them out the window and, cutting open dead seals and rummaging their hands through their bowel movements to make everyone go, oh, I can't believe I'm watching a dead seal have its poo played with and actually finding it very satisfying. Yeah. I think that's quite enough. I think that's quite enough for one day.